Tawny Newsome and Jack Quaid became just like their Star Trek lieutenants in real life. Tawny Newsome and Jack Quaid became the best friends. Their Star Trek Lower Decks lieutenants, Beckett Mariner and Bradford Boimler, are in Star Trek's animated comedy. Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5 premieres October 24, which marks Lower Decks' final season on Paramount+. Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5 is the end of Mariner, Boimler, and the USS Cerritos' voyages, for now. But Tawny's friendship with Jack will endure after Lower Decks concludes its run on Paramount+. Screen Rant was at STLV Trek to Vegas for Star Trek Lower Decks' panel featuring Tawny Newsome, Don Lewis, Eugene Cordero, and Gabrielle Ruiz, hosted by Star Trek prodigies Bonnie Garden. Answering a fan question, Newsome spoke eloquently about how playing Mariner and Boimler for 5 years on Star Trek Lower Decks manifested a real-life, brother and sister, love and friendship between Tawny and Jack Quaid. Check out Tawny at STLV in the video below. After Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5, Tawny Newsome will put an even greater stamp on Star Trek. Star Trek executive producer Alex Kurtzman considers Newsome a stone-cold assassin as a writer, and he recruited Tawny for the writer's room of Star Trek's next series, Star Trek Starfleet Academy. But Newsome's comedic voice will find an even greater medium in Star Trek's first-ever live-action half-hour comedy, Tawny's Dream of Dreams, job she is developing with Justin Simien. Jack Quaid doesn't have a new Star Trek gig after Star Trek Lower Decks ends. One of the stars of Oppenheimer, Quaid is an A-lister juggling multiple projects, such as the 5th and final season of The Boys and the 3rd season of the animated My Adventures of Superman. However, Jack Quaid loves Star Trek and Boimler, and he would surely reprise his purple-haired Starfleet optimist if given the opportunity. Perhaps Mariner and Boimler will return in a new iteration of Star Trek Lower Decks, and it's possible Tawny Newsome will cast Jack Quaid in her Star Trek comedy show. After all, what are friends for? The Star Trek universe has always had a remarkable ability to inspire its actors and fans alike. For decades, its aspirational stories of teamwork, curiosity, and resilience have created not only beloved characters, but also real-life parallels, where the values seen on screen influence those off it. Perhaps no better modern-day examples of this phenomenon exist than Tawny Newsome and Jack Quaid, the dynamic duo who play Lieutenants Beckett Mariner and Brad Boimler on Star Trek Lower Decks. Over time, these two actors have grown to embody the characteristics of their animated counterparts, becoming in many ways as closely knit and spirited as the Starfleet officers they portray. The characters, Mariner and Boimler, before delving into how Tawny Newsome and Jack Quaid have mirrored their Star Trek personas, it's important to understand the characters they portray. Star Trek Lower Decks, a comedic and animated take on the Star Trek universe, focuses on the lives of Starfleet's lower-ranked crew members aboard the starship Cerritos. Unlike captains and commanders navigating diplomatic crises, these junior officers handle the grunt work, maintaining systems and occasionally falling into ridiculous situations. Tawny Newsome's character, Beckett Mariner, is the quintessential rebel. She's irreverent, sharp-tongued, and operates with an unconventional but highly effective understanding of Starfleet's rules and norms. Despite her insubordinate attitude, Mariner is fiercely dedicated to the values of Starfleet and often displays an intuitive brilliance in problem-solving. Meanwhile, Jack Quaid's character, Brad Boimler, is the polar opposite, obsessively rule-bound, awkward, and perpetually nervous. His goal is to ascend the ranks of Starfleet through hard work, discipline, and by-the-book behavior, even though his extreme dedication often lands him in trouble. Together, these characters represent two distinct yet complementary sides of the Starfleet experience: the rogue agent who gets things done through intuition and wit, and the by-the-book officer with a strong work ethic but a lack of confidence. It's this interplay between their contrasting personalities that creates the dynamic energy and heart of the show. The actors, Newsome and Quaid, Tawny Newsome and Jack Quaid, like their characters, couldn't be more different on the surface. Newsome is an accomplished improviser and comedian with a rich background in sketch comedy, music, and activism. She has a confident, outgoing personality that resonates with her role as Mariner. Jack Quaid, on the other hand, hails from a background that includes blockbuster franchises like The Hunger Games and the popular show The Boys, where he often portrays more reserved or relatable characters. Despite these differences, they've developed an authentic camaraderie both on and off the set. In interviews and behind-the-scenes footage, Newsome and Quaid radiate the same kind of playful banter and deep bond that their characters share. Newsome often jokes about keeping Quaid on his toes, not unlike how Mariner challenges Boimler's rigid view of Starfleet protocol. Quaid, in return, frequently praises Newsome's quick wit and improvisational skills, admitting that he sometimes feels like Boimler in her presence, trying to keep up with her effortlessly cool persona. This dynamic is what makes their chemistry so natural and mirrors the interactions of their Starfleet counterparts. Newsome as Mariner. The bold, unorthodox leader, much like Beckett Mariner, Tawny Newsome has developed a reputation for blazing her own trail, both in her career and in life. As a comedian and musician, Newsome has always embraced the unconventional. Whether it's her improvisational work with Second City or her podcast Yo, Is This Racist? Newsome has consistently demonstrated a fearlessness that mirrors Mariner's rebelliousness. In Star Trek Lower Decks, Mariner is known for questioning authority and doing things her way, traits that Newsome clearly embodies in her approach to life and work. In interviews, Newsome has often spoken about her love for the Star Trek franchise, particularly its progressive values. Mariner's fierce dedication to fairness, equality, and exploration is something that resonates deeply with Newsome's personal philosophy. As an advocate for racial and gender equality, Newsome brings a sense of authenticity to Mariner's nonconformist attitude. It's clear that playing Mariner hasn't just been an acting role for her, it's an extension of her own bold, outspoken, and justice-oriented personality. Newsome's dynamic presence also extends to her ability to lead with a sense of humor. Mariner's irreverence might seem like insubordination at first glance, but it's often the reason she's able to cut through bureaucratic nonsense and get to the heart of the matter. Similarly, Newsome has a natural ability to blend comedy with incisive social commentary, leading to her being a respected voice not only in entertainment but in conversations about cultural change. Quaid as Boimler. The diligent, eager-to-please officer Jack Quaid, much like Boimler, exudes a sense of earnestness and enthusiasm that's hard to miss. Boimler's defining trait is his obsessive dedication to Starfleet regulations and his determination to climb the ranks. Quaid, in turn, has displayed a similar work ethic in his career, committing wholeheartedly to his roles and always aiming for authenticity. Boimler may be socially awkward and a bit of a worrier, but his heart is in the right place, and he constantly strives to be the best officer he can be. This echoes Quaid's approach to acting and his obvious respect for the Star Trek legacy. In interviews, Quaid has often spoken about how much he loves playing Boimler and the joy he finds in portraying the character's neurotic but lovable personality. He's even admitted that, like Boimler, he tends to overthink things and sometimes feels like the nervous guy in the room. However, much like Boimler grows throughout the series, Quaid has also grown in his confidence, particularly in working alongside seasoned performers like Newsome. The parallels are hard to ignore. Just as Boimler gains courage through his friendship with Mariner, Quaid has found new creative heights working with Newsome. Real-life Starfleet lieutenants, what's particularly interesting about Newsome and Quaid is that, like their characters, they've formed a real-life partnership based on mutual respect and trust. Their working relationship, much like Mariner and Boimler's, is one of balance. Newsome's boldness and wit keep things fresh and unexpected, while Quaid's steady dedication and thoughtful approach ground their performances in sincerity.